Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at the week from June 8th to the 14th. With over 400 new books releasing this week, there is no way we could cover them all. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. The Daffodil Days by Helen Bain is a stunningly inventive and poignant historical novel that follows Sylvia Plath through the final year of her life. Set in a small English town in the early 1960s, the novel portrays the interconnected lives of local residents whose routines and relationships revolve around the rhythms of community life. At its center is a young family newly arrived from London. Poet Sylvia Plath, her husband, and their young daughter, who settle into a cottage beside the church in hopes of creating a peaceful and fulfilling life. Told through the perspectives of the townspeople who observe and interact with them, the story offers a portrait of Sylvia during a pivotal period of her life and marriage. Rather than focusing solely on her later reputation, it presents her as a vibrant, talented, and complex woman, while exploring how her presence touches the wider community around her. The Daffodil Days will be released on June 9th. Decay and Devour by G.E. Masters is a post-apocalyptic, sapphic romance that blurs the line between science fiction and horror. 5 years after a zombie-like outbreak devastates society, researcher Kate is devoted to developing a vaccine that could save humanity. During a patrol outside a safe zone, she is attacked by an infected creature and expects to die, only to be rescued and abducted by Jordan, an infected woman who has somehow retained intermittent control over her mind despite the virus. Recognizing that Jordan's unusual condition may hold the key to a cure, Kate persuades her to help reach the safe zone. Together, they embark on a dangerous journey through a world filled with infected hordes, violent survivors, and cults. As they struggle with their own fears and inner battles, the two women develop a deep bond while racing to uncover a possible path toward humanity's survival. Decay and Devour will be released on June 14th. The Grump I Married by Leslie North is a grumpy sunshine billionaire boss romance. Ava works as the overworked assistant to Weston Kincaid, a wealthy, emotionally distant businessman who relies on her to keep his life running smoothly. When Weston learns that he must marry in order to inherit a valuable Scottish estate from his grandfather, he unexpectedly asks Ava to become his temporary wife. After a misunderstanding involving Weston's ex-girlfriend ruins his chances with other potential candidates, Ava reluctantly agrees to a lucrative fake marriage arrangement that will allow her to pursue her own goals. Together, they travel to the Scottish Highlands and settle into life at the estate, intending to keep the relationship strictly business. But as they spend more time together, Ava begins to see a different side of Weston, and their convenient arrangement becomes increasingly complicated by real feelings. The Grump I Married will be released on June 11th. How to Not Marry a Lord by Emma Orchard is a spicy Regency romance. Cecilia and her sisters unexpectedly inherit a valuable estate, offering them a level of financial independence they had never expected. The inheritance comes with an unusual condition. None of the sisters may become engaged for an entire year, or they risk losing everything. For Cecilia, who has spent years navigating society's expectations of marriage, the arrangement initially feels liberating. However, the sisters soon attract the attention of fortune hunters, eager matchmakers, and eligible suitors. Among them is a reserved major who proves particularly difficult for Cecilia to ignore. As the year unfolds, she must balance the promise of freedom and security against the possibility of love. How to Not Marry a Lord will be released on June 13th. Contrapposto is the latest from best-selling author Dave Eggers. The novel follows Crick Dib and Olympia Argios over more than 6 decades, beginning when they meet as children and discover a shared passion for art. Olympia quickly recognizes Cricket's talent and becomes a driving force in his life, setting in motion a lifelong relationship that encompasses friendship, artistic collaboration, love, and rivalry. From art school to careers in the international art world, the two navigate changing movements, personal ambitions, successes, disappointments, and complicated romantic feelings. While Cricket views Olympia as the central figure in his life, their relationship evolves in unexpected ways as they pursue artistic meaning and try to leave a lasting mark on the world. Spanning multiple countries and decades, the story explores creativity, friendship, devotion, aging, and the challenges of remaining true to one's ideals. Contrapposto will be released on June 9th. My Husband's Child by Lisa Timoney. Katie adores her 6-year-old stepdaughter, Maisie, and hopes to build a permanent family with her husband, Liam, especially after learning they cannot have children together. However, Maisie has become very close to Liam's adult daughter, Olivia, who has largely helped raise her since the death of Maisie's mother, and strongly resists Katie's efforts to become more involved. As tensions grow over who should have primary responsibility for Maisie, and whether Katie should be allowed to adopt her, both women become convinced they know what is best for the child. When a tragedy places Liam's life at risk, the conflict takes on a greater urgency, forcing Katie and Olivia to confront their differences while trying to protect the girl they both love. My Husband's Child will be released on June 12th. While You Sleep is a heart-wrenching psychological thriller by S.J. King. Eve Dawson is a mother who feels she is falling short of the life she wants for herself and her daughter. When she begins taking a pill that supposedly eliminates the need for sleep, she suddenly gains hours of extra time each day and becomes remarkably productive, transforming her home and daily routine. But as the benefits grow, so do the unsettling side effects. Eve begins experiencing memory gaps, discovering notes she does not remember writing, and noticing strange occurrences around the house. When her daughter Jada suffers a frightening medical emergency, Eve becomes convinced that something is seriously wrong. Unsure whether an outside threat is targeting her family or whether the problem lies within herself, she must uncover the truth before her daughter is harmed. While You Sleep will be released on June 8th. The Weekend Boyfriend is the first in a new series by Mary Farmer. Javier, who works delivering singing telegrams and entertainment services, unexpectedly crosses paths with billionaire Desmond White when he performs an embarrassing message for Desmond's ex-partner. What begins as an awkward encounter develops into an arrangement in which the two pretend to be a committed couple, initially for convenience and mutual benefit. As their fake relationship continues through weekends together, both men find it increasingly difficult to separate performance from reality. At the same time, they face mounting complications. Desmond is dealing with the fallout from a toxic former relationship and professional secrets, while Javier struggles to keep his failing business afloat. As outside pressures intensify, their growing feelings force them to decide whether what began as an act can become something real. The Weekend Boyfriend will be released on June 12th. The Teacher's Pet is a dark, twisty thriller by M.A. Hunter. Nearly 20 years after a traumatic experience at Meridian Secondary, the narrator returns to the isolated island school in a position of authority. As a student, events at the school left deep emotional scars, and since then they have spent years hiding both their past and their true identity. Now, back at the place they once fled, they are determined to keep long-buried secrets hidden. But revisiting the school forces them to confront memories of an intense and potentially destructive relationship, as well as the consequences of choices made in the name of love. The Teacher's Pet will be released on June 10th. Finally, we have Pool House by Mary H.K. Choi, a hilarious new novel about mothers, daughters, and family. Stevie dreams of escaping the shadow of her mother, Moon, a former actress whose turbulent life has left both of them struggling to move forward. After the death of Moon's longtime lover and television co star, financial pressures force the two women to remain together despite their strange relationship, living in a small pool house while renting out their home. Their uneasy arrangement becomes even more complicated when Adam, Moon's former on screen son and Stevie's longtime crush, arrives following the funeral. As the three begin sharing space and attempting to recreate a sense of family, old resentments, unspoken desires, grief, and personal ambitions collide, threatening the fragile balance holding them together. Pool House will be released on June 9th. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading lists, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.